in the different phase of occurrence, which is the inclusivity and its regulatory advantage, the resources about the procedures and how to efficiency and its a procedure for their regulatory, which is the challenges for their effective part of the approach and how to distinguish for their transformation and its a rationalism, which is the growing and its execution of work, the procedures and its efficiency, which is the neutralization and its a cooperative advantage for the silence working capacity preconception of the society, which is the fundamental nature and its conservative advantage for their resources, which have the procedures and its efficiency and its dynamic institutionalization for their procedures and its gracefully transformation, which have the procedures and its efficiency. It is the challenges for their effective part of the approach and its relentless structural and its growth and its orientation for their social and its evolutionary for their growth and its occurrence for their society, which is the different advantage resources about the fundamental conservative advantage and its resource efficiency, the procedures and the guidance for their management requirement and its technology association cooperative advantage for the different characteristic of the adversity, which is the inclusivity for their challenges, how to different navigation of the enlightenment periods and its survival for the necessary, which is the occupancy for their transformations and its reluctance for their ideologically and transforming the association and its different navigation for their supplementary and its ideologically. It is refining for the different comprehensive advantage resources about the growth and its orientation for their social and its evolutionary for their challenges, which is the capacity and its neutral efficiency and challenges for their different efficiency for their different gesture of the society, which is the fundamental natures and its efficiency, the procedures about different efficiency and its core values and its efficiency for their gradually responsibility, which is the hidden of their transformation and its efficiency for their dynamic in its institutionalization, which is the growing and its influential part of the approach and its different navigation association and its compartmentalization for their reluctance and its cooperative advantage, which is the circumstances of work and it's a beginning for the defining association concurrent list and its association for their gracefully transaction and its infrastructure base and its facilitates about defining and its navigation for their inclusivity, which have the aesthetics and data, which are the determining and it's a comprehensive association. It is the neutralization and its procedures about the comprehensive advantage and resources and its neutral efficiency, the gesture of the society and its inclusivity for their challenges, which is the working and its capacity for their neutral efficiency, the challenges and its capacity for their neutralization and its efficiency and challenges for their cooperative advantage, surveillance and it's all about their phenomena of the structural and its resources about different beginning and its social and its evolutionary for their growing and its efficiency. It is the challenges for their cooperative and its socialization, which is the efficiency, the procedures about their different growing and its enlightenment for their transformation, how to different challenges for their competitive advantage and its resources about different growing and its influential association for their different growing and its influential part of the approach, which is the enlightenment of the social rehabilitation process and its challenges of the different strategy and vision about the capacity of their association and it's building about large empire and it's a strategically association and it's a competitives and its enlightenment for their procedures, but it will be management about the technology renewable resources and its intellectual properties, which is the client emails and its inventory association and its navigation for their social and its evolving for their cooperative advantage. It is the challenges which is the efficiency and its gradually working capacity for their inner conscience, how to navigation and its procedures which is the effective for their transition, not only the regional level but also the global levels, how to competitive advantage and its resources about different functional needs association, the navigation and challenges for their competitive advantage and resources about their gradually expansion and its slightly advantage. अनीता मौसी अनीता मौसी फ़ोन कर रही है. It is the slightly advantage which is the resources about the different growing and its influential association and its navigation for their working capacity for their neutralization. पता नहीं इसमें 2-3 बार किसका फ़ोन आ रहा है, क्या नाम है किसी का है, अनीता मौसी मौसी का फ़ोन आ रहा है. ओके, अरे यार ये तो ऑन है. चलो कोई बात. It is the cooperative advantage and its surveillance for their desirable and its conceptual and its growing for their different competitive and its working for their institutionalization, how to different challenges and its capacity for their neutral efficiency, the procedures about their different role and its regulatory for their challenges for their competitive and its advantage for their resources which is the neutralization and its procedures, the efficiency and its dynamic institutionalization and its gesture of the society which is the challenges for their different dynamic institutionalization and how to navigation of the slightly advantaged resources about their different growing and its efficiency. It is the working and its neutralization for their growing and its influential structural and its core values and systematic and its partially. जानते हो दोस्तों, अगर दे दिए ना माँ को बतियाने के लिए तो समझ रहे हो ना 4 घंटा का काम हो जाएगा, उसीलिए नहीं दिए. दूसरे मोबाइल से लगा कर दे दिए, मैंने दूसरे पापा के मोबाइल से लगा कर दे दिए. 4 घंटा ख़त्म हो जाता है. मौसी को जान भी करते हो आप लोग भी देखे होंगे. चलो कोई बात नहीं. It is the cooperative advantage and its socialization which is the influential and its association for the different navigation of the society which is the core values and systematic way of the ideologically and its finding for their procedures. We have just tried to influence in different role of their competitive and its reasonable part of the approach, the efficiency and its growing and its challenges for their capacity and its neutral efficiency which is the balance for their cooperative advantage and its surveillance for their desirable. It is the challenges and its institutionalization for their procedures and its different ability and its functional for their challenges, how to different navigation of the society and its institutionalization for their procedure and its efficiency for their working capacity, the neutral efficiency and challenges for their capacity and its neutralization for their procedures and its efficiency for their gradually transformations and transition of the society which have their different advantage and its resources about how to neutralization and its procedures for their capacity and its neutral efficiency. It is the procedures about the working capacity and its neutralization for their procedures and the efficiency for the different regardless and its challenges for their gracefully and its role in its regulatory for their challenges, how to interruptions and its basically for their basically which is the fundamental natures and its conservative of minds, how to socialize and its core values and systematic way of the ideologically, how to different resilience and the association and its conservative of the mindset, the procedures and its management of the requirement and thinking about the different ability and its functional for their association and its neutralization which is the growing and its influential part of the approach, how to different working and its facts about their neutral efficiency, how to challenges and its growing and its influential association, the the navigation and challenges for their cooperative and its institutionalization for their functional and its association for their competitive advantage, resources about their gracefully transition of the society and its inclusivity for their challenges and its capacity for their neutral efficiency. We are just trying to influence for their association and its navigation for their different absolute majority and its thinking about the role and its regulatory for their working capacity and its neutralization, the procedures about their working and its social and its evolutionary for their capacity and its neutralization for their procedure and its efficiency for their gracefully and its social and its evolutionary for their gracefully and transformations and its transition to society. It is the neutralization and its procedures about the working and its capacity for their neutral efficiency, which is the core values and systematic way of the ideologically and transaction of the society, which have their procedures and its efficiency for their dynamic institutional association. The navigation and its different reluctance for their ideologically in its part of the approach and its growth and its orientation for their different navigation for their socialization. It is the competitive advantage, resilient as structural and its resources above, different functional and its challenges for their capacity and its neutralization for their procedures, which is the efficiency and its growth and its orientation of the socialization and its effective for their transition. How to different how to different how to different cooperative and it's a technology and it's a renewable resources cyclic process and it's challenges for their defining and it's a navigation and it's a role for their defining and its association, the challenges for their capacity and its requirement for their phenomena of the structural and its resources about different core and its efficiency for their challenges and its effective for their transition of the society. It is the balance and its a role and its procedures, which is the efficiency. How to different navigation of the socialization and its influential, which is the gracefully and its responsibility for their different occupancy of the society, the challenges and its capacity for their neutral efficiency, the procedures about the reluctance for their ideologically and its different ability and its functional association for their navigation. It is the capacity for their neutralization and its procedures about different reluctance for their ideologically and its functional for their cooperative and its advantage for their resources about how to the navigation and the technology reluctance, which is the socialization and how to procedures about the conservative of their mindset and its convenience structural, which helping for the different naturals and its working for their defining and its association, the navigation and its working procedures, which is the challenges and its capacity for their neutralization and its procedures about their different way of the challenges and its sustainable approach, the different humanity thinking and its mindset when you have different types of visions and the association of work, the capacity and its internal concise and its maternal energy, which is the proper way of the efficiency and its capacity for their different growing and its institutionalization for their regulatory and its advantage, which is the growing and its influential association, the navigation and its part of the approach, which is the requirement and its thinking about the growth and its orientation for their neutral efficiency, which is the reluctance for their association, the challenges for their efficiency and its core and its efficiency for their gracefully and its resources about the fundamental nature and its challenges, how to defining and its association for their gracefully responsibility. It is the working and its procedures about different role and its regulatory for their challenges, how to defining and its association for their core values and its efficiency for their gracefully and its navigation for their challenges, which is the capacity and its investment procedures working for their facility about एसोसिएटेड एंड इट्स चैलेंजेस में तेरी बार बार चैलेंजेस चैलेंजेस देखो चार चीज दो चार वर्ड है ना जो दिमाग में मेरा घुस गया है, चैलेंजेस डिफरेंट वीच और ईट, ये जो है ना अब निकालना पड़ेगा इसको, बहुत दिमाग ख़राब हो गया है। जब बोल रहे हैं तब चैलेंजेस चैलेंजेस आ रहा है, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि क्या करें। आप ही लोग बताओ कि क्या करना चाहिए, इस कंडीशन में क्या करना चाहिए, बोलो।